Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Now that my two obligatory informative videos are done for the day, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. And multiple people awared me yesterday. They were all sending me screenshots and everything. Multiple people were like, hey Jason, you got to see this new stuff with McCarthy. He's put up another GoFundMe. So let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing, work on skilling up my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. Now I'll probably flip in some stuff here and there as we go in this. But, you know, I covered this last time when Ian was droning about his depression and everything. I gave some good advice. You know, as much as Ian and I might have some negative history, I might dislike him. He even threw in and said that the people who were stalking me and my loved ones, that I deserved it, all that. And I stepped in and said, you know what? I'm still not going to pick on somebody who's obviously suffering from depression, because I have had debilitating depression before in my life. It is serious stuff. It's really not something to make fun of. But, you know, we've got Ian McStrothers over here who, after going through all of that, getting all that money in donations while having a coaching service online, he had asked for $4,000 last time on a GoFundMe. People who cared about him, they donated $4,000 to him. Now he's like, I'm broke again and I need more money. And he put up another GoFundMe. Now he's catching flack from the people who like him. And I guess here's my take on it. And again, hopefully Ian will watch this. I'm sorry, but Ian has a place to live. He has a roof over his head. He's going through all of this, and he has the ability to make money from home right now. He has an online coaching service. He has clients who somehow, for some reason, think that he's qualified to coach them, which I don't think that he is. I don't think he understands anything about training at this point in the game. He really doesn't. But he has people who are willing to pay him for a service he can do while laying in bed. There's a point where I don't really have sympathy anymore at that point. And I just tell him he needs to pull himself up by the bootstraps and he needs to do what he can do from home. All right? Because here's what it comes down to. Earning your money when you are depressed will help you feel better about yourself. Begging for money makes you feel like garbage. It makes you feel like garbage when you're already depressed. And you guys know I had a period of time where I spent 10 months in bed. I had lost pretty much everything I had. I lost my corporate job. I was in a bad place. My physical illness put me in bed, and with that came depression. I had debilitating depression during that time. And I had to spend 10 months in bed physically, and that made my depression, my old depression I had earlier in life, really, really difficult. I was at that bottom, that rock bottom. I had a friend who was gracious enough, and to this day I still thank him. I've always coached this friend for free. I've coached him, I've trained him. I trained him so that he could get on his SWAT team. I coached him physically for all that, wrote his training program, helped him get in the shape he needed so he could place first in the physical stuff to go get on a SWAT team, which he did. And I was happy to do that because I owe him. You know, I was in the same situation Ian's in. He's got a place to live. He said he lives with his mother. He's got a roof over his head. He has internet connection. My bro gave me a roof over my head while I was going through that. And I was grateful for that. You know, so Ian's in that same situation. I was grateful to be in that situation. And because of that, that friend, when he's needed favors, I have always returned those favors. Even if it's, hey man, I need you to come train me. I got to get ready for this physical thing. I need this. It's like there's no money. There's no questions asked. I just do it because he put a roof over my head when I was that sick. And didn't charge me for it. You know, that is friendship. And because of that, anytime that guy ever comes to me needing anything as a favor, it's automatic. There's no questions asked. No questions asked. Now, granted, I had done stuff for him before that made him feel a good enough friend to do that, but that's how friendships work, you know. That's how it works. But, you know, that's one of those friends for life. That if that guy needs anything ever, he's going to get it from me. Okay, and that's just how it is. That's how it has to be. I put a roof over my head. So Ian's in that situation. Do you guys know how I had to survive? I had to go through the system, get what little bit of I could, what little bit of help I could. You know, there are services out there. There's not a lot, but they are out there. But to make any money at all, because I couldn't really get out of bed much, I wrote papers for college students and charged them by the page. People say, oh, that's unethical. You know what? I didn't care. I needed the money. It's not illegal. Might be unethical, but it's not illegal, and I needed the money to survive. I was destitute, physically disabled, and depressed. And that's money I could make laying in a bed typing on a keyboard. Okay? Money I could make. I power leveled characters in World of Warcraft and sold those. That's how I survived for that year, basically. I survived by doing that. I survived. Now he's over here, has an online coaching service, and he's over here begging people for money. Begging his followers, the same people who would pay him for coaching services. I'm sorry, but at that point, I think that's just a sense of entitlement. I think based upon what I've seen of Ian and his past and his attitude, I don't think he is a self-entitled social justice warrior, is how I would describe it. But he's self-entitled. That sense of entitlement that I can ask people who want to pay me for a service. All these people will pay me to coach them online. I can do that while depressed and laying in bed. I've got a roof over my head. I could at least get myself back on my feet doing that. Instead, he feels entitled to ask for money after he already got $4,000 in donations. Now he's catching flack. There's people who are like angry at him. There are people in there saying, hey, you know, some of us gave you money already, and you know, where did it all go? And as far as counseling goes, if he said he spent thousands of dollars on therapy, it didn't work. He's still just as depressed. That was money wasted. Hell, he needs to get that money back. Those therapists ripped him off if he's paying them and he's still that depressed. You know what I mean? But that's the situation he's in. Now there are people who are giving him a hard time. Like, I don't know, why don't you go get Medicaid? Why don't you go get these services? You know, because I'm sorry, they are out there, Ian. Those services are out there. You need to look into that. You need to realize that, okay, you can't afford to get the services you need without asking for handouts on your Facebook and a GoFundMe. Those services are available. Our tax dollars are paying for them. My tax dollars are paying for them right now. You know what? Go ahead and use them. I mean, we're all foot, the taxpayer, we're all footing the bill. The money's already there. Hell, it might as well go to somebody intelligent. You know, that's how I feel about it. You need to utilize those services. Yes, you can get Medicaid, Ian. Yes, you can get. There's things like the MHMRA. There are services like that available that will give you help. That'll give you help. But it's this sense of entitlement that you don't feel that you should have to go through that system. That you can just ask your followers to just give you money directly with no accountability. Whereas if you went through those services, there's going to be accountability. There's going to be accountability. You go through the system to get counseling, you're going to have to deal with drug tests. You're going to have to go with waiting at the offices and stuff. You're going to have to deal with all that. But you know what? That's the situation you're in. You're not a high income earner. You are destitute, maybe because of just your depression and things that are not your own choosing, but you're going to have to use those resources. You're going to have to be like a normal person. Or you can realize that you aren't. You already have an outreach. You have people willing to pay you for a service to where you could get back on your feet while laying in your bed. Okay? I had to go find ways to make money when I was physically disabled and depressed and laying in bed. I had to find ways to make money online. I had to find ways to make money. You have it sitting right there and you can't get up off your ass. Well, actually, you don't even have to get off your ass. You can do it while laying down. But instead of offering the service to people who are willing to pay you to coach them, instead you're choosing to beg for money again. And then you get upset when your people who've already donated or who are looking at this, who are normally supporters of yours, are giving you a hard time. Have you considered that maybe at this point you need to be given a hard time? Maybe you need to be given a hard time. There are people who feel like maybe you wasted that last $4,000. That's what some of them are saying. They're accusing you of wasting it. And the fact that you feel entitled to ask for more. No, maybe it's time you need to earn it. You need to get up off your ass and at least do your online coaching business, because you know you could make money doing that. Why in the world anyone would hire you to be a coach is beyond me. Before people say that, well, Jason, I wouldn't hire you. That I don't offer the service. I've never offered an online coaching service. I've had people ask me. I'm just not really interested in doing one at this time. I have other people I recommend for those who are asking. I don't mind giving referrals. I don't offer that, and I don't care to. Not really my gig right now. But he has it, people are willing to pay him to do that, and instead he's going to feel like he's entitled to ask people for money when he could still sit and type at his keyboard. He had to type up that GoFundMe, he had to put in the stuff for that. He could just coach. People are telling him to go work at McDonald's. Well, no, he probably can't do that right now, but he could coach from his bedroom. He has clients. He would just rather, as I've said before, I think at this point Ian likes feeling down. I think he likes making a public display of his depression. That's what it comes down to. He enjoys it because he has all the tools available, doesn't choose to utilize them, and instead is willing to just take advantage and just keep asking for people to donate to his GoFundMe when he actually has an online business from home to where he could go ahead and he could make that money and maybe give someone a service they want in return. And it's really not that much more work than sitting around creating a GoFundMe at this point for him. He already has a lot of clients, unless he's lost them all because he's just blown them off. And in which case, at a certain point, that's a choice you choose to make. No, we don't always choose depression, but we choose whether we wallow in it. We choose whether we utilize the resources we have available to us. We choose how we feel about that behavior, what we choose to do about it. And I'm speaking as someone who has themselves suffered from debilitating depression in the past. There's a conscious choice that you make at different points along the way as to whether you're going to seek any sort of help at all, whether you're going to do anything, or whether you're going to wait on someone else to hand it to you. And that's what it is. Ian is what I've noticed over the years. He has a sense of entitlement. He has that left-wing millennial sense of entitlement. And at this point, I think he's about to realize people are kind of tired of just giving to him. He's going to have to actually do something on his own. And that's what I would say. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps and start coaching people. You'll feel a lot better about it. Go to the gym and actually train. Not goof off like you do, and actually train, and you'll actually start feeling better about yourself. Do something to make yourself feel better about yourself. Because if you don't do that and you keep down this same spiral, woe is me, then asking for handouts instead of actually just doing a little bit of the work you could do and complaining about your depression all the time, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. 2 years from now, you won't be here. That'll be the end of it. So you need to decide right now, are you going to win this fight? Or are you going to just roll over and die? Because you're going to have to pick one of the two. And I would say that Ian is at that point right now. You need to pick. Are you going to get up and fight, or are you going to roll over and die? Which one is it going to be? Shit or get off the pot, son. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.